You're watching on LinkedIn and YouTube Live and Facebook Live. So if you are new to the conversation, we want to welcome you. And if you are a return viewer, we want to say welcome back. As you're getting settled in, kings and queens, we want to remind you to like and share and subscribe so that whenever I post new videos, you will be one of the first to be alerted. And you can always watch live, normally on Sundays. Or if you're unavailable, you can always go and look at this another time. But it's always something, a conversation that you can use to talk with people in your own personal circle. So today we are talking about the Fraternal Order of Police and their fight with the Wylie, Texas Independent School District. Yes, the Fraternal Order of Police is using its bully tactics against school administrators and a bunch of eighth graders. It happened the week before last, so in the past week, and it has to do with some eighth graders and a social studies assignment they were given by a teacher at Cooper Junior High. And Wylie, in case you are wondering, is north of Dallas. And essentially, it was a social studies assignment that had to do with some political cartoons. And so the teacher took those political cartoons. They were originally, this particular one was originally published on a media platform in Arizona. And so it wasn't as if it was something that the children created. They were just given the assignment to discuss it and dissect, if you will, what was going on, their views on the cartoon. So right now, I am going to share with you my screen as we go through. Let me see if I can show that to you. Hopefully you are seeing. Let me see if you're seeing it. Yes, I think you are. You're seeing the cartoon. It was a school assignment and it compares police officers to slave owners, slave masters, and then the Ku Klux Klan, and then police officers during the civil rights era, Jim Crow police officers. And then there's a depiction of the police officer in Minneapolis with his knee on the neck of George Floyd as he is dying. And all of these Black men throughout the centuries are saying, I can't breathe. And so this was a social studies assignment to some eighth graders. And let me now go back. Okay. Social study assignment for some eighth graders. And essentially, you can't hide the reality of what's going on today. But apparently, parents and parents who were upset, parents of these eighth graders who didn't like the assignment, they alerted. I don't know if they alerted the school district. The information that I read said the parents alerted the Fraternal Order of Police, and so that made Joe Gamardi. He is the current national vice president of the Fraternal Order of Police, and Gamardi is also the past president of the police union, the local chapter of the police union in Houston, Texas. And so in a letter to the superintendent of the Wylie Independent School District, Gamardi said that the cartoon, he called it disturbing. He also says that the worst part is that there was no responsible adult around to keep this from becoming a school assignment. And Gamardi said he was offering to be a part of the positive resolution He had offered to have dialogue, sit down and talk with teachers and students about a positive resolution. Resolution to what? A school assignment. But what I want to do is I want to get your opinion on, do you think this is, what do you think about the assignment? Would it be something, I'm just typing, do you like this assignment for eighth graders? If you have children, or you were the parent of someone who had a social studies assignment like this one, how would you feel about that? Now, since you are seeing me on different platforms, I might not be able to see your specific comments right now, but I am going to go back and look at those. And so please remember to like and share and subscribe to my video journal as you are writing your comments. So I want to dissect this assignment, as well as I want to talk about the responses to it. So this was an assignment for 13-year-olds. They're not 6-year-olds. These 13-year-olds are closer to adulthood than they are to adolescence. And so we would hope that in today's climate, that this civil unrest, this is something that 13-year-olds realistically are dealing with, whether it's themselves that they're dealing with it, whether it's family members who are dealing with it, or their friends and family members, or it's just the world around them. It's their reality. And so parents should not try to try to ignore what is going on outside your front door. You shouldn't try to ignore that to the point where you feel like it's a bad assignment. The fact is, it's reality. It's the current situation that we live in. And so if we want our next generation of adults and leaders to be equipped emotionally to deal with what's going on around them, we can't hide it from them. I would say to parents that if you don't like the reality, don't hide from it, and don't have your children hide from it. Be the change you hope to see. Change it. Talk to them about the assignment and what they feel about it. Don't just say, oh, this is something that they shouldn't deal with. That's how we are in a situation where we are. We think children don't grasp the enormity, the seriousness of what's going on, whether it be something about sex or something about violence or drugs or sexuality. We just think that they shouldn't be involved in that. And of course, things should be age appropriate. But like I said, 13 is, especially today's 13-year-olds, are closer to adulthood than they are to adolescence. And the reality is that the civil discourse going on in America has a lot to do with racial discrimination and genocide at the hands of law enforcement. And so we can't ignore the world around us. What we should be doing is helping them to be the change that we want to see. To Joe Gamardi, I would say this. Now Joe Gamardi is the national vice president of the Fraternal Order of Police, and he was upset. He wrote a letter to the superintendent of the Wylie Independent School District, criticizing the teacher for allowing this to be a social studies class assignment. So my response to that would be, why are you upset that it's an assignment? It seems like you would be more upset that this is the reality that people see. You see, you can't be upset with people for coming to a conclusion. Whether you agree with the conclusion or you don't agree with the conclusion, the fact remains, the fact is that in America, most people see police and see the Fraternal Order of Police, their police union that defends them. When we see violence against unarmed Black people, when we see bully, liar, killer cops doing their thing on video or not on video, but we see the results of it, what we also see is the Fraternal Order of Police defending the indefensible, which is the use of deadly force against unarmed Black people. And so I see it, millions of other people see it, and those millions of other people include 13-year-old eighth graders in Wylie, Texas. So you can't be mad at somebody for seeing what is. If you're going to be upset with them, or if you're going to be upset with anyone, it should be being upset that your image is what it is. What you should be doing is trying to work on your image, which means instead of you trying to sit down and offer to counsel teachers and students about a resolution, you might want to talk to your membership about not being bully, liar, killer cops and brutalizing the people that they are sworn to protect and serve. How about starting there? So if you start there and you start condemning police officers for their violence against unarmed Black people or unarmed people at all, instead of trying to talk with the masses about pushing a false narrative or a skewed narrative about their conclusions about what they see, how about talking to your membership, condemning them on the violence? Most recently, the shooting of an unarmed Black man in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and it's shooting him 7 times in the back. How about talking to them about that? Because when they see, let's show this again. I'm going to share my screen again. When they see, when whomever created this cartoon, and when the teacher saw it and said, why don't we talk about this? That's a very good conversation. It can't get any more real than that. I mean, what other social study assignment, what book, what speaker, what other lesson could there be to discuss at this time in our history than to talk about the civil unrest in the streets and people getting shot over being brutalized by bully, liar, killer cops? It seems like the best assignment that I could think of. So that's what I would say to Gamardi. His disdain and you know what? I went online before I sat down just to do some research on Joe Gamardi, and there are a couple of, and I'll let you go look them up. There are, I'll put in his name so you know how to spell it. Joe Gamardi is the new vice president of the Fraternal Order of Police. And he just got elected a couple of weeks ago in early August. And so based off of the videos that I saw of the interviews that he has done during his presidency, he was the president of the local Houston chapter. It's no wonder that he was elected to the national chapter, because his disdain and disrespect for the citizens of Houston showed through in the interviews that he did. He talked about how if you want to come up against us, we got your number and we're going to hunt you down, and call them, I forgot what the specific term was, but it was a derogatory type term, like that, just showed that he had no respect for the people that he that the citizens of Houston. And so the story was just concerning his lack of respect in how he talked about the citizens. That was the story that they were talking about at the time. So again, go to YouTube and look that up. It's called Union President's Comments Spark Controversy. That's the name of the video. Union President's Comments Spark Controversy. And so, again, it's no wonder that he was voted to the national chapter, because it seems that although the Fraternal Order of Police is supposed to represent all of their membership, and Grimaldi talked about in the letter that he sent to the Wylie IDS superintendent, he talked about the diverse membership of the Fraternal Order of Police. But from all indications that I've read and the research that I've done, a lot of non-white police officers feel like the Fraternal Order of Police is a white boy fraternity. In fact, that's the term that they use, white boy fraternity. And so they don't feel represented fully as they would be if they were white police officers. So there's dissension in the ranks, Joe Grimaldi, that you might want to go check out while you're trying to talk to eighth graders and bully school administrators. You might want to focus on the dissension and the issues that the Fraternal Order of Police faces. And lastly, I would say that after all of this, after the superintendent of schools got the letter and Governor Greg Abbott got word of the issue at hand, he is calling now for the termination of the teacher who assigned the project. And I would say that Governor Abbott is rushing to judgment and had little to no forethought in this whole thing, because what better thing for eighth graders to be talking about? I mean, and I use better as a relative term, because we would want for our children to not be faced with the realities of people getting shot just because of the color of their skin, people not having a job and protesting for various things in the street, people dying because of a deadly virus and nobody seems to know how to stop it. And there are so many issues that we wish our children would not have to deal with, as well as ourselves. But Governor Abbott, as your president said, it is what it is. And so for you to put this all on the state of the world, the state of America, at the hands of a teacher who is doing his or her best to give students assignments that are relative to what they're going through today, and to be a medical professional, and to have to worry about his or her family and what they're taking home to them, because they're being forced to either work from home and or to work in the school system, while putting themselves in jeopardy. I would say your focus is on the wrong thing. That's assigning this, or a teacher who assigns this is forward thinking. A teacher who assigns this project is trying to, I would say, elicit dialogue about what's going on. And that's what children need to be talking about to help them to work through it. We all need to be talking about it to help us to work through it. So I would say that you shouldn't be trying to force teachers out who are this socially engaged. These are the type of teachers that we would want in our school system. And so Instead of you, Governor Abbott, allowing yourselves to be bullied by the Fraternal Order of Police, you should be more supportive of the teachers that are working in our school systems. And to the Fraternal Order of Police, this is what they do. They bully politicians. They bully unarmed citizens on the streets. And now, a new low, they bully eighth graders over a social studies school assignment. So, here we are. So, to find out more about the things that I care about, go to the written version of my journal. It's at eurweb.com. And be sure to like and share and subscribe so that the next time I post a new video, you will be one of the first people to get the information. Thanks and have a super day.